cargo pilots are calling for federal agencies to help prevent accidents that might be caused by pilot fatigue.
They say they need the same protections limiting the hours they fly that currently apply to passenger pilots. To investigator Pam Zekman has this story. Good evening, Pam.
Marissa and Rob, the cargo pilots have been waging this battle in court, in Congress, and with the FAA. It all started with a deadly plane crash. 50 people were killed after a passenger plane crashed into a house near Buffalo, New York. The NTSB said the crash was caused partly by pilot fatigue. In the aftermath, Congress mandated that the FAA address the fatigue issue. In the end, the FAA passed new regulations limiting shifts to 8 to 9 hours and requiring 10 hours of rest between them. But that was just for passenger pilots. Cargo pilots were left out, meaning they could still work up to 16 hours.
You have one set of more rested pilots, which would be the passenger carriers, and another set of less rested pilots, and that is a recipe for disaster.
Like in 2013, when a UPS cargo plane flying to Birmingham, Alabama, crashed short of the runway, killing the two pilots. A cockpit recording reveals they'd talked about fatigue.
When my alarm went off, I'm thinking, I'm so tired. I know.
The NTSB ruled that fatigue contributed to the accident, not because of excessive hours for the crew, but because they mismanaged their time off. A survey of UPS pilots found 96% said they've felt fatigued while on duty, and 93% said it's not uncommon to fly with another crew member who exhibits signs of fatigue. The airline industry says pilots have a duty to show up for work ready to fly. Why should there be a difference between cargo pilots and passenger pilots when it comes to rest regulations?
They fly shorter schedules. A passenger carrier pilot on average will fly 55 hours a month. A cargo pilot will fly about 30 hours a month.
This time-lapse map shows most cargo flights, shown in yellow, are at night.
The most challenging environment to fly in is flying night cargo on the backside of the clock.
What's particularly dangerous about this over an airport like O'Hare?
We'll often fly parallel approaches, and that means that two aircraft at the same time will be flying in close proximity to each other,
all risking a possible crash.
It's not a matter of if a tragedy will happen, it's a matter of when it will happen.
The Airline Association says safety is always their highest priority, and the FAA decision was appropriate. But the Pilots Association is fighting it in court. A UPS spokesman says the company's union contract limits pilots to no more than an 11-hour shift, less than the current 16 hours allowed by the FAA. And Robin, Marissa, he blames all of the airing of this on the fact that union negotiations are now underway. But there's still some very interesting and questionable safety issues.
Well, you've outlined them pretty well.
Thank you.
Indeed. Thanks.